Good evening and welcome to Sunday Night League's Formula X Round 11. Here we are today at Circuit de la Sarthe, otherwise known as Le Mans to you and me, home of the 24-hour race. But it won't be 24 hours today, you'll be pleased to know. We have ahead of us a total of 18 laps. Not as many as previous races, however, though Circuit de la Sarthe is quite a chunky lap. It's a total of 8.47 miles with 21 corners that our drivers need to navigate their way around. Our drivers for today, the grid order, we have starting at the front, Tommy Paynes, followed by GT Racer, making up the front row. Second row is Digital Blasphemy and Wolfbane. Fifth, we have Pheasant Plucker with Digweed in sixth, Jacques Jajar in seventh. Alexis Maximus comes with eighth on the grid starting. Noxie ninth, Guesty 10th, Pileski 11th, SNL Jam 12th, and Cthulhu starts at the back of the grid. However, looking at the championship leader tables, of which this is a reverse grid, at the moment Cthulhu is sitting pretty up in the points at number one with 178 points. Not too far, though, wanting to be closer is Jam with 153 points in second, quite tightly competing in the points every single race, those two, though not too much on-track action. I'd like to see maybe those two coming together later in this race, as we are only on the penultimate race of the season. We only have this and next Sunday's race, where we'll be at Suzuka for the finale. Now, third in the championship at the moment is Alexis Maximus's Mercedes with 106 points, though they are very closely matched behind by Matt Psycho with 101. Although Matt Psycho isn't in the championship anymore, neither is Little's GP, who currently holds fifth position with 94 points. So it could be that after this race, we might see Jacques Jajar with 90 points in sixth at the moment, overtaking Little's GP and possibly even Matt Psycho to take that fourth place in the Drivers' Championship. Noxie at the moment is in seventh with 83 points. Close behind them is GT Racer with 77. Then Pileski with 74. Digweed comes in 10th position with 65 points. Guesty at the moment with 64. Very, very tight midfield we've got here. Digital Blasphemy has a total of 58 points in 11th. I feel like I might have missed out Guesty there, who's in 11th with 64. Pheasant Plucker has 53 points, though 10 points behind them in the McLaren as well is Intulio with 43. Wolfbane with 42, very close there in 15th. 16th is Jim 66 with 33 points. Tommy Paynes in 17th with 31. Gazman in 18th with 23. I'm Stupid has 14 points. And Pat's 96 with 12. GDE Trust also with 12. And OKC Ranger with 6 points there at the bottom at 22. That's the total Drivers' Championship at the moment. Still very much all to play for, particularly in that midfield. And there's only 2 races to go. So looking for some very, very aggressive driving from all of them. And hopefully they can let do all their talking on the track. Might even change the Drivers' Championship up a little bit as well after today's. Now looking at the constructors after round 10, we have Red Bull still in the lead with 283 points. They made quite the late surge halfway through this season. They have 283 points in first. Alpine with 221 in second. Ferrari not too far behind with 210 in third. Aston Martin even closer with 208 in fourth. Williams makes up fifth position with 185, though Mercedes are very close on their tails with 184, and McLaren with 182. So looking on track to see the battle between Alpine, Ferrari, and Aston Martin, whether they can gain some places for that second position. Red Bull seem very assuredly up at the front with 283. But also having a look at the Williams, Mercedes, and the McLaren, who are all within about 3 points of each other. Certainly still very tight, even after all these races. So great championship we've had. Now, on to today's race. As I mentioned, we will have 18 laps ahead of us. Now, the tyre compounds available to the drivers. The Bridgestone drivers, who are the Alpine, McLaren, and Red Bull teams, get the super softs and the mediums. And would you have it? The Michelin teams also get the super softs and the mediums available to them. So No tyre differences there. Could be interesting to see how they play, although predictably it could be that most people will, as they have throughout the rest of this season, and much against many of my predictions, one day I'll get one of them right, who knows. They will probably stick on the super softs and then throw the mediums on at either the beginning or the very last end of the race. We will have to wait and see how that goes. Now, without further ado, let's get this race underway. So, starting at the front of the grid, we have Tommy Paynes and GT Racer making up the front grid, followed by Dish Blasphemy and Wolfbane. See who can get away from the lights first. Holding on to these lights for a very, very long while. Away we go. Great start. A bit of wheel spin there at the back. I think someone got a bit of a slow start as a few of the drivers go on the outside to get around it. Brilliant start there from GT Racer coming up the inside. Has managed to beat Tommy Paynes into the first corner. Tommy Paynes now leading. District Blasphemy and the Mercedes has swept past. Got the inside line there. Manages to keep on to second place. Tommy Paynes has been pushed out wide by a number of the Red Bulls there. So Digweed up into third. Tommy Paynes having dropped back down to fourth. Pileski in fifth at the moment. Guesty in sixth, although having a bit of a battle with Pileski still to get around and hold that position. Stays in sixth actually. Seventh is First and Plucker and Alexis Maximus in eighth at the moment. GT Racer storming ahead as we go down this main straight here, and Digweed just scooting past in the Red Bull from the Mercedes, but has the inside line coming into the first chicane. Does dip behind the Mercedes of District Blasphemy there. Oh no. Excuse me, District Blasphemy up into first as we come into the chicane. GT Racer, the McLaren, goes a little bit wide, I think, to avoid a bit of contact there. Drops down to second. Digweed in the Red Bull, still in third. Pileski's up into fourth. As with the whole group now tied together. Pileski and Pheasant Plucker, both in McLarens, I believe, there, in fourth and fifth. Let's see who. Oh, the Digital Blasphemy tearing ahead of the pack at the moment there as they come into the second chicane. Pileski up into second now, having overtaken. Oh, I think we've just got one of the drivers is just going off there. Let's have a look. Can we go back? And no, replay's not wanting to work today. We have to go back now. Digweed up into third at the moment. Tommy Paynes did slide first, now dropping down to fourth, but not too far behind as they've got a bit of drop from Digweed going into the right-hander at the bottom there. Oh, just a bit of gravel. Can they keep it on the track? Oh, no, unfortunately not. They're off into the gravel. They're dropping down the leaderboard. That is unfortunate there for them. Digital Blasphemy still managing somehow to get back onto top spot, though Pileski has taken that right away from them as they come round into sector 4 of this track. A little bit of a bumping there between the Red Bull and Mercedes in the distance. Pileski got a little bit of lock up there, though hasn't lost too much time. Keeps it just about on the track. Oh, I think Digweed might have gotten a few wheels on the gravel there and lost quite a bit of time. They've fallen back down now. Guesty up into fourth and fifth. Oh, a little bit of a glitch, unfortunately, from Digweed. Still in fifth at the moment. Pileski holding on to that first position, though both Mercedes of Alexis Maximus and Digital Blasphemy hunting them down. There was a little bit of an indicator there from Alexis Maximus. Not sure if that was some team orders saying either to back off or leave me be. I've got this under control. We'll have to wait and see how that one plays out. Now let's just watch the pair of these. Oh, Alexis Maximus has the inside line going in. I think Pileski managed to sort of back out of that one. Didn't want to risk it. Bit of corner cutting there from Alexis Maximus. Quite a chunk taken out, I think, riding that curb. Pileski down in second, but not too far. Digital Blasphemy making a third position. Got one of the Red Bulls, I think, trying to make a breakaway from the rest. SNL Jam up into fifth. Cthulhu did start at the back of the grid today, now up into sixth, our current championship leader, with the Alpine of Wolfbane right behind them, although they are making up some serious time. Pheasant Plucker after one lap now up into eighth. McLarens seem to be somewhat stuck together in this running order here. GT Racer, they not leaving each other's side. What great teammates they've got there going on. Now, Noxie has set some rather fast laps, even won a race or two down earlier in the season. Up into 10th. Still quite a bit to play for, though. Only on lap 2. A little bit of jumping around there, I think I see from Tommy Paynes. Hopefully not too many glitches that are going there. Now Alexis Maximus, who was up in, is up in first, has a little bit of an off. Why don't we have a little go backseat there? So it goes into the chicane, I think runs just a little bit too deep. Yeah, carries too much speed. Bit too deep, late on the brakes there, and just goes a bit wide into the curve. Hasn't lost too much time, but Pulaski will be loving the little error there from Alexis Maximus as it brings them a bit closer. Is it within enough striking distance? I don't think it quite is, but we've still got a little bit more straight ahead of us as we go into the second chicane on board with Pulaski. Oh, just misses that apex at the beginning there, tries to overcompensate. Yes, a bit squirrely on the exit, unfortunately. Back end steps out. Still their fastest lap for everyone. You know, purple sector for everyone on lap 2. Why not? Loses that time that I think they would have gained from Alexis Maximus, unfortunately. Now let's have a look back at Digital Blasphemy. Now, Herd starting to spread out at this point, although a number of drivers. Cthulhu now up into 4th, taking 4th place away from Guesty. Very nice overtake there. Managed to get it done just before the corner, but kept the inside line. Oh, getting a bit dirty there as going through the gravel. That's not going to do these tyres any world of good. By the looks of things, SNL Jam now having a bit of a look-see on the back of Guesty. Will they go for an overtake coming into these corners? Let's go on board. Just all over the back of the rear wing there. Backs off just on this corner here. Can get a bit messy through there. So quite sensible, clearly playing the long game here. And you've got a number of drivers up ahead, all bunching together. Ooh, it looks like Digital Blasphemy having a bit of an issue there. They've now backed. Everyone seems to have dropped back a little bit. I think we're wanting SNL Jam to just move up a little bit close. Doesn't want to lose too much distance between this pack here, as it will do them a world of wonders in terms of slipstreaming down the Martin Straight. Wonderful for Cthulhu there, already up into 3rd position. Let's have a little bit. Cthulhu already up into 3rd, having started at the back. Absolute no wonder they're leading the championship at the moment there. This is a very tight battle. Well, there was a Wolfsbane just into the pits there. It looked like they started on the mediums though, so it could be them done on the medium compound for the rest of this race. They've all the drivers have to use each compound at least once. Well, a longer way of saying they have to use both compounds available to them over the course of the race. So now that they're done the mediums, they can jump straight on the super softs and don't have to worry too much about fulfilling that criteria. Ooh, I thought that was going to go a bit wider. They managed to hold on very nicely there, Pulaski. The Williams are quite phenomenal with just how quickly they can do. We've seen them with a very high top speed in some of the previous races. They've managed to spend their tokens very well. Looking at the tokens, they've actually got +1 to power, -3 to weight. That -3 to weight probably going to do them a whole world of good with the tyre strategy, as they'll be able to make these super softs last probably a lot longer than some of their competitors. Tulu's still up into 3rd, Digital Blasphemy and Mercedes in 4th, although right behind them we've got Guesty of the Aston Martin and SNL Jam of the Alpine. SNL Jam just sitting behind the lot. Can't be particularly great for the tyres sitting in this much of traffic. Is it more of a compromise to try and lift off, save a bit more fuel by sitting behind somebody else? You know, let them push the air out the way as you go down the Martin Straight, or is it easier to slingshot around them and really save those tyres? I'm sure we'll see a lot of that play out as we're already on lap 3 of our 18-lap race. Let's have a look down the rest of the leaderboard now. 7th, we currently have a GT Racer, and 8th, we have Pheasant Plucker, both in the McLarens. Wonder if we'll see any team orders between those drivers there. But at the moment, Pheasant Plucker just running around the outside there to slip in front. Now, GT Racer is currently 8th at the moment with 77 points, whereas Pheasant Plucker has 53 in 13th. So, if team orders are anything to play by, you would expect them to keep GT Racer in front, and Pheasant Plucker can do a bit of defending behind them. But at the moment, Pheasant Plucker seems to be doing very... Ooh, spoke too soon there as they go off into the gravel. I did think they were managing to carry a lot of speed through that corner. If they pulled that one off, that would have been sublime, but it would appear that they did not. Now, Jacques Jajar in 10th, Tommy Payne's the other Aston Martin in 11th, and the other Alpine is Wolfbane in 12th. Looking back at the top, we've still got the Alexis Maximus Mercedes up in first now with a little bit of a distance. Currently, they've set a fastest lap of a 3:07.3. Can they do any better? Ooh, 3:06.9. Not sure why that one's not showing up in the lovely purple colour. Now it is. The stewards have finally taken a second or two there to agree that that was the fastest lap. Pileski doesn't seem to be gaining too much, so there's about 3 seconds off between the two of them, making up their own track line there is Pileski. Took a bit of a corner out there. Haven't gained anything so much, gained or lost a position, so this should be okay. Ooh, although carrying too much corner, too much speed through there, just gets him on the grass. Manages to hold on to it though throughout, but it has left them in the clutches of Cthulhu right behind. So let's go on board with Cthulhu as we go down the Monthon Straight. Now, just look at that, drafting all the way down the back. Can they get the move done before the corner? I'm not sure they can. Oh, they're very late braking, but Pileski, I think, broke just that little bit later, managing to get hold of that position. Can they keep on to it? Neither of them now with the slipstream to hand, so it's just that Williams has definitely got more front force, brute power going down. Now they're trying to break that slipstream. They don't want Cthulhu gaining from any of it. You can just see Alexis Maximus up in the distance there, having entered. So they're going to go for the inside line here. Cthulhu, can they make it stick? No, they don't. Just breaking that one meter, maybe a bit later. Pileski holds on to second position. What a great race. Still weaving side to side, trying to make sure that there's no benefit to Cthulhu to keep hold of that slipstream. What great racing we've already had so far. Now, as they come to the end of the straight, will we see any daring lunges at this point here? Oh, Cthulhu just goes for the inside line, somehow turns into a space hopper, just hitting those bollards, unfortunately, puts them up in the air and loses a lot of time for them, dropping down to 6th position. What unfortunate circumstances there for Cthulhu, but I'm sure they'll manage to make that time up in no time at all. They did start at the back of the grid at the beginning race, and only 3 laps they were already up fighting for second position, so I have every faith that they will make it back there. Guesty now up to third, inheriting that position from Cthulhu. SNL Jam having overtaken Digital Blasphemy already, making it up into 4th with Digital Blasphemy in 5th. Cthulhu still in 6th. Noxie, the other Williams, in 7th at the moment. Little bit of a gap, but not as much as they would have liked. Oh, the 2 McLarens here split by the Ferrari of Jacques Jajar. Can we see more overtaking, please? There's clearly not been enough at all throughout this race. This is absolutely fabulous. Look at this, Lexus Maximus still in first place. Just lightning speed through that chicane. Do they do any better? Oh, getting a little bit wobbly on the exit of that chicane. I think they took a bit of sausage with them. No, they go a bit slower there, unfortunately. 1.4 seconds. Pileski, interestingly, into the pits they go. Now, given that a lot of these drivers are all still so tight together, it's going to drop them down a number of places. But can they get the chop on SNL Jam by the looks of it? Jumping up into second, although having to fight with Guesty. Can they go for the undercut? Was what I was saying about Pileski there over Alexis Maximus. SNL Jam having to defend very hard from Guesty, but can they get far enough in front of them before getting onto the straight? Otherwise Guesty's going to very much benefit from that slipstream. I think they've managed to do it, yeah, just a little bit too far behind, I think, to benefit from that slipstream. We'll see how it coming up into the first chicane. Quite a lot of degradation we're now seeing on the supers from Cthulhu, clearly pushing them quite hard, and I imagine that spin going off didn't do them a world of favours as we come onto the first chicane. Very nicely there, nice and smooth from Jam. Does Guesty manage to gain any time? don't think they quite have. No, they're still managing to stay the same. So Cthulhu in 4th, Digital Blasphemy, the other Mercedes, got a good haul of points at the moment, looking like for Mercedes. That'll be really good for them in terms of the championship. Remember, they've got 184 points. Williams have 185 and McLaren have 182. So it's very, very clear that Mercedes need to get these haul of points in so they can get some, put some distance between themselves and the rest of the pack at the bottom there. All to play for, still going into the penultimate race. Next week we're at Suzuka. Let's hope it's just as good as this. Saying a best sector there, GT Racer. Nice little green and blue. The McLaren seem to have been split quite a bit. Now that Jacques Chachard got into the mix there, they've split considerably. So GT Racer in 7th. Where's the other McLaren disappeared to? Pheasant Plucker. Oh no, they must have had a little bit of an off, or they've jumped into the pits. What have they got? Yeah, fresh set of mediums by the look. So they jumped into the pits there, filled up with fuel. They've thrown the mediums on. That's what's dropped them behind. But they have now met the requirement for that medium. So how many laps will they sacrifice on these laps? I think the driver's not really liking the less grippier tyre compounds available to them. Lexus Maximus, will they jump into the pits as they come onto the beginning of lap 6? Into the pits they go. So currently on the supers, oh, they had to pit anyway. Look at that fuel light flashing away. Barely anything left on board. The vibrant purple colours of Lexus Maximus matching that lovely purple helmet. So, what tyre compound will they jump onto? SNL Jam also into the pits. Guesty, do they stay out? Guesty does indeed stay out, taking first position, but they've got just less than a quarter of a tank of fuel on board. That could see them quite a bit of distance. Really depends what they have spent their wonderful tokens on. Those Aston Martins have been quite good in the past at looking after their tyres, but Aston Martin, they spent +2 to their power and +1 to weight. So we could maybe see a bit more top speed here as they start on the Mossad straight. Let's have a look, see what top speed they're cooking by the end of it. Already at 200 there. So I think a number of drivers on the Curva Grande when we were at Monza were hitting 210. Already 210 here. Just hitting that ceiling. 212, 213. 213 by the looks of it before having to brake for that first chicane. Absolute blinding speeds. Now let's look down the rest of the group. Oh, we've had Wolfbane go off. Let's have a little rewind. Oh, that looks a bit harsh. So, comes through the first few set corners. I think I had a bit of glitching. I wonder whether that's maybe what's occurred. Well, usually the glitching isn't apparent to yourselves. Or have they taken a bit too much speed? Clips the grass there. Oh no, yeah, bit too much speed. Clips the grass. Means they end up clipping too much of the apex on the inside here. And similar to what Cthulhu did earlier on, where they turned into a space hopper, they too have just hit those bollards in the middle, right on the apex. And they've dropped down to 4th position. So Guesty's still up in 1st. Digital Blasphemy, having not pitted yet, up into 2nd. A number of these drivers are already having. Lexus Maximus, the other Mercedes, has pitted. It's gone back onto the supers. Was in 1st at the moment. Wolfbane. Now they've got Pileski breathing down their neck. Goes for a much deeper line there. Oh, hello Pileski. That was quite a wide line. I think they just maybe outbroke themselves and had to avoid the back of Wolfbane there. And so took the much longer scenic route through the first chicane. A number of the drivers now spreading a little bit, but not too far. It's only a few seconds, maybe less than half a second between each of them. Cthulhu, our current championship leader, down into 7th position at the moment. And through the 2nd chicane, their teammate, I believe, Wolfbane. Nope, I'm already forgetting who we got. So Cthulhu up into 7th position at the moment. The drivers, those having just pitted. So we're looking at about 5 or so. Ooh, Cthulhu, that's not really what you want to be doing. Was that the same corner that they had a bit of a wobbly on previously? I think it was. Just runs a bit deep there. Yeah, just braking a little bit too deep. Trying to avoid those bollards in the middle, but avoiding them far too much. Did well to avoid the gravel. Would have got caught in that, put them in the clutches of Noxie, right behind in that Williams. Now, every faith that Cthulhu, with about 12 laps left, should be able to bring it back. As we were just saying though, 5 laps it seems to be for the supers. Guesty now into the pits. I suspect Digital Blasphemy will come into the pits as well. Any of these drivers going to opt for the medium? Yeah, there we go. Into the pits, which means Alexis Maximus will now inherit first place again. They went for a little bit of a longer run than some of their other competitors. It seems to have paid off. I thought the undercut may have worked, but not so much. So far, none of the drivers looking at it. Ooh, bit of a battle at the moment going on here between GT Racer and Jacques Jajal. Although Jacques Jajal has been behind GT Racer for a little while now, doing well not to let them go. Both having pitted last lap for the supers. Not sure whether any of the drivers have actually jumped onto the mediums. I think Pheasant Plucker may have been one of the only that had actually jumped onto it. Oh, right on the transmission there of GT Racer coming around the last few corners was Jacques Jajal. We'll see whether we've got any overtaking as we go down the Monson straight. But very key these next few corners, really leading up to it. You've got to get those absolutely pitch perfect. Otherwise, you do lose a lot of that initial speed that you can carry to get you faster up to the top speed at the beginning of the Monson straight. Then you're there for much longer. Now, Jacques Jajal holding onto the back. So these are the corners I was saying that you want to be real careful at, as just GT Racer dips a little bit in the grass gravel there. Now, I suspect Jacques Jajal is going to have no problem at getting past here. Let's go on board. Look at that slipstreaming, doing very well there. Ooh, just gives him a bit of a nudge. Seems he might want to stay behind even. Is he staying behind at this point so that they can grab it at the chicane here? Ooh. Did well not to go into the back there. It's always quite difficult when following. You're not too sure when the driver in front is actually going to slam the brakes on. You know approximately when, but they might leave it a metre or two later than usual, or earlier even, if they know that you're right behind them. Could they be saving a little on their fuel from Jacques Jajal? Who knows? We'll see. Right, so going down further, the rest of the grid. Mediums is the tyre of choice for Digital Blasphemy, it seems, and the less grip available to them compared to the supers is clearly showing as they just go a bit too wide through the second chicane. Pheasant Plucker also on the mediums. They were one of the first few people to jump onto the medium after their first pit stop. Wolfbane in 11th at the moment, running on the supers, though having just pitted, and by the looks of it, on a 305.409, could be holding the fastest lap at the moment. So you want to keep an eye out for them, particularly in that Alpine. Tommy Payne's down in 12th at the moment, but after 7 laps, our top 3 at the moment is Alexis Maximus, Pileski, and SNL Jam. Not too many surprises there. Cthulhu on a bit of a mission to get back. Did manage to make their way back up to second place after about 4 laps, but had a somewhat of an incident with the bollards and had to ended up dropping back a few places, went down to 6th position before pitting. They do have Noxie, you can spy in the distance there in the Williams, just managing to keep up with them. Not letting them out of their sights just yet. So Cthulhu may still need to fight for this third position. It may not be quite so easy. Looks like Pileski has dropped back a bit by the looks of things. And SNL Jam is probably within attacking distance very shortly before coming onto the Mossel Strait, which is exactly where they want to be, so they can use some of that slipstream to slingshot right round. Seen a few drivers here taking a bit too much curb. No, it does very nicely going around that corner. Not too much curb taken there. Key with those corners, very smooth inputs, something I know absolutely nothing about. But, oh, very risky there from Jam. I think they got maybe a couple of wheels on the grass as they go to overtake, to take second place from Pileski. But can they make it stick is the question as we come up to the first chicane. Pileski with the inside line, but coming into the second corner, Jam has the inside line and takes it. Very nicely done. Holds on to that, but immediately at risk of losing that place because the slipstreams that they just benefited from is now their weakness as Pileski holds down the back of SNL Jam. Although looming in the background is Cthulhu, who is probably waiting for these two to have a little bit of a nudge and send each other flying off, making his life certainly a lot easier. SNL Jam really pushing, getting his elbows out there, not letting Pileski through, but Pileski, albeit taking the gravel with it, does manage to squeeze through and into second place. All the while, Cthulhu getting that little bit closer each time. Now Pileski making sure to break that slipstream by weaving there a little bit. Absolutely getting bunched up here. Let's go on board with SNL Jam, why not? So Pileski immediately in front, Cthulhu maybe a little bit closer behind. We're going to see a little bit of an overtake here from SNL Jam as we come up into whichever corner this is. But he's got the inside line for it at least. Oh, bit of a bump there from Cthulhu, I think. Yeah, a bit of a bump from Cthulhu there. Oh, let's go back and have a look at that one. So, once again, Cthulhu coming onto the back of Pileski and SNL Jam there. Jam covering the inside line there. Oh, just a bit of a sharp dive to the right. Comes back on board, nudges Pileski, and then yeah, just. I'm not sure what was going on. I think they were going a bit too fast for themselves and lost that one. Unfortunately, they've lost another couple of positions there. So quite a few mistakes being made here from Cthulhu. Very unsurprising of the championship leader. They do manage to get past Pileski, who's down into 6th at the moment. But Cthulhu is under fire from Guesty. Noxie has slipped past up into 3rd position. Doing very well there. Now, Pileski has not out of the fight just yet. They've taken back 5th position and now hunting down Cthulhu, which I'm sure they will want that 3rd place right back again. Not happy about that. Runs very wide there from Pileski, and I believe Guesty as well. The pair of them running a bit wide, but Guesty just that little bit wider, unfortunately. Hits the barrier and spins. There's not too much damage done to their car that they can't continue. We'll have to wait and see. But so far, nobody in the background. This could be causing a bit of a gap between them, just as the gap is now opening between Cthulhu and Pileski. After that, a bit of an incident there. Noxie now having slipped through up into 3rd position, with SNL Jam now coming under fire from a new contender. Will they be able to hold on? They lost the position here last lap, but they did manage to gain it back again. So lots of chopping and changing while they'll peek down the rest of the grid. Jacques Jajar, having finally gotten past GT Racer, it appears, is already onto the back of Guesty going into the Mossel Strait. Pheasant Plucker, the other McLaren from GT Racer. Both of them now reunited after what seems like an eternity in this race. The two McLarens tied together, it would seem. We have Wolfbane in 10th, Digital Blasphemy, and in 11th, unsurprisingly. Could be those mediums, just hasn't got the pace Yeah, look at that, 318. Oof, Tommy Payne's doing a bit of gardening work in their spare time. Bit of a trim. Oh, that felt painful. Oh no, just lighting the rears up. I think they may be wanting to go and have a pit, throw some new supers on there, get a bit more grip in them, and whilst they're waiting, try and fix that engine. So as we get to the end of the Mulsanne straight, it seems that SNL Jam has managed to hold on to second position from Noxie, but they've only got to do that for the next 9 laps as well. We could be here for a very long time, and I'm sure it won't go quickly at all for Jam, with Noxie breathing down their back. Could we see another overtake here? SNL Jam has the inside line going to this corner. You can just hear Noxie lifting off there to allow them through, clearly trying to avoid any sort of bumping or unnecessary collisions. Doing very well there. There was a little bit of wheel spin trying to get off that curb, but so far the weather's been absolutely great. The winding race so far. Lexus Maximus still holding on to that first, building up quite the lead actually, it seems. Looks like they might be coming across the they'll be coming across the back marker of Tommy Payne's, who's currently in the pits. Might be still in the pits by the time they get there, could be out. I think they've just left the pits, so they'll be getting a blue flag in the near future. Lexus Maximus doing very, very well at the moment. SNL Jam staying out, as it looked like Noxie just dipping. Yeah, you can see the fuel light was just going there. My God. SNL Jam taking quite a lot of the sausage curb with them going over there. Can't imagine it's doing his suspension a world of wonders. Now look at this, Cthulhu back up into third position. Looking at the fuel levels, they are pretty comparative between the top 3. You might see all 3 of these drivers hitting at the same time. Could be next lap, could be the one after. I'll have to wait and see. So far they've been getting about 5 laps out of these supers, with Pileski that also having jumped into the pits. Now do be aware that some of these drivers might not have had the mediums on, and we saw a few of them leaving it to the last minute to throw those mediums and get a couple of laps out of them just to fulfill the requirement of using both sets of compounds available to them. Remember, it's the mediums and the super softs that both teams each have to use. Is Jacques Jajar close enough to the back of Guesty here? I think it's a little bit too far out, but so far running from 5th, doing quite well. Wolfsbane as well, not too far behind, up into 6th already. GT Racer, who was holding back Jacques Jajar for quite some time, now into 7th with Digital Blasphemy. So we're already halfway through our race this evening. In 8th, Noxie, the Williams, coming in 9th. Pileski, having just pitted, comes out in 10th in front of Tommy Payne's. Nope, Tommy Payne's is in front of everybody else, but they're 11th at the moment in the grid order. Lexus Maximus still holding on to first. So there we have the fuel light going off for Lexus Maximus, and still got half a bit of the track to go. So I suspect that our top 3 will all have to pit. Will we see any of them though trying to shave a little bit more fuel off of their tanks to get out of the pits as quickly as possible? If they're opting for the supers, then they probably don't need to put a whole full tank of fuel in. They might be able to let it off just a little bit. Drivers should know by this point in the track where they can lift off and where they can really put the foot down. We've got a yellow flag here, it seems. Not sure who the yellow flag was for. It looks like Tommy Payne's, I think, is having a bit of a nightmare there. Yeah, they've got some damage to their front. Right, they've just gone off into the gravel, bringing it back on. They've got the blue flag. Oh no, I think they've lit up the rear tyres, and unfortunately one side's gripped more so than the other. And with that damage to the front right, it's probably upset them a bit with the steering, and they've gone off even more. God. The grass just seems to stick to doing doing very well to stay out of the way of the current race leaders, though. Hats off at least there, but yeah, that grass just seems to stick to these tyres so much, and it's a bit of a vicious cycle. Once you've got it on there, it takes absolutely forever to come back off. You've really got quite a few laps even before you get some normality of grip back again. Alexis Maximus, yep, into the pits. I suspect SNL Jam also will follow straight into the pits there. Cthulhu the same as well, getting deja vu here. Jacques Jajar, will they go for an early pit stop? They do have about 1/8 of a tank of fuel left, which may not be enough to see them round this lap. Could be a bit safer for them to jump into the pits for a little splash and dash, and I think, yes they do. My lord, is anybody going to stay? Guesty stays out, there we go. We had one driver at least not pitting today, and that's fine. So here we are, Guesty taking, at the moment, pole position on lap 11, though our race leaders are all in the pits and joined by a few others. You've got Wolfbane, Jacques Jajar, GT Racer in there as well. Who do we have up in front? So Tommy Paynes now starts on the Mulsanne straight. We've got Guesty, the other Aston Martin, also coming onto the Mulsanne straight. I think he's a bit too far behind to have any cheeky team orders to let him slow down and get a bit of a slipstream down the Mulsanne straight, get a bit more aero, a bit more speed down here. That would, you can see the spark ticking up on the back of the car there as they downforce in these cars. It's absolutely subliminal. That's why they're able to get to 213 miles an hour there and 100 miles an hour through that first corner of the chicane, slowing down only to about 80 before picking it right back up again. 120 was the exit speed, I think, looking there from that first chicane. So not a lot of speed, well, quite a bit, going from 200 down to 100, but don't be fooled, the cars are flying in the background. It's just not quite rendered the rest of the track that far back. Out of the pits first is SNL Jam, though, with Alexis Maximus right hot on their tails, coming into the second chicane. I suspect that maybe they may have swapped around a few places already by now. These two are quite contested between the two. SNL Jam covering that inside line going into the chicane. Very nicely held there. Alexis Maximus trying to get those elbows out, really pushing out the way. Hugging the absolute rear wing of SNL Jam's Alpine. Will Alexis Maximus now go for an overtake? I think we might see he can overtake here. He's going for the inside line as we come to the end of the straight, but just not in front. SNL Jam is really quick, just whips in the car into the right, takes the apex through there and holds on to second place at the moment. Now Noxie there in fourth with Cthulhu in fifth. Hopefully we see a bit more of it overtaking from Cthulhu. Once again, Alexis Maximus going for the inside line here. Can they get the overtake done? So far they're in front. Yes, they've managed to get it, but they're not getting away with it too quickly. This has been quite a tricky corner for a number of our drivers. Bit of a lock up there from, I'm not too sure, might have been SNL Jam that's locked up there, because Alexis Maximus is getting away, putting quite a bit more distance. Just comparing the Mercedes has only got a 1% power, whereas the plus 1% power, whereas the Alpine's got plus 1 to power and minus 1 to weight. You would have thought that Alpine could pull away a bit quicker than that Mercedes, but must just not have gotten as much exit speed as SNL Jam would have wanted. Does leave them falling behind a bit with Noxie right on their tails in the Williams, and the Williams we know are already very, very quick with that minus 3 to weight. That's a whole big deal round here. SNL Jam also on the mediums, interestingly. Alexis Maximus also going for the mediums. Now the question is, that's not going to do their times any world of good. They're taking a lot of curb there. Coming out of the last corner, getting a bit sideways and probably losing a whole deal of speed. Now SNL Jam perhaps too preoccupied at the moment with Noxie breathing down their neck, and with the Mulsanne straight coming up in the very, very near future, wants to be getting away from them as quickly as possible and robbing them of that that slipstream that everyone seems to have benefited from so very much already this race. It was a little bit slower there. Not surprising given that they're on the mediums. I strongly doubt that they will use these mediums for the rest of the race. We have about 6 laps left, but who knows? These supers were lasting about 5 laps, but looking at the amount of fuel they've got on board, we've got Noxie just alongside. Will they hold on to it? They got the inside line going into the chicane. I think they do, just braking a little bit later than SNL Jam. Manages to take 3rd place away from Jam. Really having to make those supers work. Jam was not giving up without a fight at all. But unfortunately for Noxie, the slipstream they benefit from, now Jam has that to their advantage. Now, as I was just saying, looking at the fuel levels on board, I'm not sure if SNL Jam is planning on making these mediums last to the end of the race. We've got less than half a tank. I just don't think that's going to do unless they are, of course, playing some sort of fuel strategy by conserving as much as possible. They certainly conserve a lot of fuel stuck behind Noxie there. Seems to always have one or the other Williams up ahead. So we had the Williams, I believe, of Pileski at the very beginning of this race, doing very well up in the top of the grid order. Although they're only down in 7th, so not too far away at the moment. Noxie really holding on to... trying to hold on to that 3rd position. You would have thought that I need to plug that in. You would have thought that those supers would have benefited them a great deal more than they have, but it's probably just showing just how good SNL Jam here is with those mediums. Some tight competition between the two. But if these drivers need to pit once more, it could be a bit touch and go. They've pitted on lap 11. We're seeing about 5 laps of tyre usage and fuel wear. Might have to be one more pit stop, although it'll be only for about 2 or 3 laps. Guesty at the moment tearing off into the distance. Oh, we've got a yellow flag out. Who's the yellow flag for though? Not sure. Went away as quickly as it came through there. Guesty now into the pits. Seems that they were running on fumes and then some. So Cthulhu going a little bit too wide through there into 5th. Digital Blasphemy in the Mercedes. Alexis Maximus now taking 1st position as they cross the line. Noxie getting the back end very much out there as they come across the last corner. So SNL Jam just in the distance. They've managed to put a little bit of room between them, but having that rear end slip out on them probably hasn't done them a whole world of good. Just Blasphemy was on the mediums, might probably be coming in now into the supers, and it's likely that Dish Blasphemy and Noxie, Guesty, having just pitted at this point, that'll be them for the rest of the race. Let's keep an eye on the race leaders at the moment. Alexis Maximus with somewhat of a gap, let's say, to the rest of the drivers. One of our drivers is stuck about halfway around the course. We'll have a look at that. So Cthulhu up into 4th, having started last on the grid, making their way up to almost the front of the race and then falling back down again. Unfortunately, bit of bad luck there, but they're making up for it. It's been a bit of an uphill battle the whole way through here. Pileski in 5th, Wolfbane up into 6th, doing very well there. Jacques Chajard also into 7th, just in the not too far in the distance. You've got Wolfbane up ahead. Guesty into 8th, GT Racer in 9th. Digital Blasphemy is currently 10th, going wide. And Tommy Paynes, who looks like they're a bit stuck there. I think they might have gotten out and gone for a picnic. Why not? The weather is absolutely fantastic today. Now, Alexis Maximus not as far away from the rest of the group as they would have liked. Look at that shot there. Yeah, they are not as far away as they would have liked and had a bit more of a lead earlier on. So slow and steady could be the way to win it today, knowing that they are on the medium and they may have to pit. Although half a tank of fuel could be playing this smart and not needing to pit. Now, Noxie, on the other hand, has the more grippy supers, but just over a quarter of a tank, a little bit less than Alexis Maximus. I'm not sure if it's enough to see them to the end of the race. In fact, I strongly doubt it is. sets a best sector there. That's no surprise as they absolutely hunt down the back of Alexis Maximus. SNL Jam up into third, although they've got the championship leader, Cthulhu, right behind them. It's not over just yet. Look at this, going to the last half. Yellow flag up ahead. Who is the yellow flag for? I think that may be the yellow flag. Yeah, I think it's the yellow flag for Tommy Paynes. He's gone off for a lovely little picnic. So drivers will probably be wanting to ignore that as they go around. Otherwise, that could cause them to lose out, as drivers will have to slow down to half race speed. As are the requirements for a yellow flag. SNL Jam into the pits. Let's have a look-see. I suspect they will probably, most definitely, almost certainly go for the supers. Where will they come out of the pits, though, is the question. Gives a bit more breathing space to Noxie, who was being followed by SNL Jam, but they have got Cthulhu behind them. At the moment, Wolfbane actually has the fastest lap of 305.086. Absolutely blinding. Not sure why their 304s aren't being considered for the fastest lap, though. Someone's head in the way. What on earth is all that about? Yeah, not sure why their 304s aren't being held. Alexis Maximus, oof, look at, oh no, runs a little bit wide coming out of the corner there, and that does mean that Noxie is now within attacking distance. Let's go on board with Noxie. Will they have anything done by the end of the next chicane? Oh, Alexis Maximus desperately trying to break that slipstream between the two of them, but it's not enough. It really just isn't enough, and I think Noxie has probably got this already done before the chicane. So up into, oh no, they haven't quite got it done as easily as they thought. Alexis Maximus is fighting back for that first place. Currently down in second at the moment, but just slipping behind, trying to utilize that slipstream effect. Can they get round before the end of the corner? The Williams having absolute advantage with the less weight. Oh, really forcing them off out wide there, Noxie. No messing around between these two. Noxie is getting their elbows right out. They've had the taste of winning a race earlier on in this season, and they want it again, particularly in these last 4 laps of the race. Though both drivers are gonna need to pit at some point, because I don't think they've got enough fuel. Noxie, just letting Alexis Maximus go through there. Quite a clean overtake from Alexis Maximus. Didn't seem like Noxie put too much of a fight up between the two of them in getting them past. Cthulhu, on the other hand, you can just spy in the distance there in third position. Could be just a wolf waiting, biding their time for these two. It's a little sneak peek. Oh no, see, they've got quarter of a tank of fuel on board as well, so I suspect that it's going to be a similar situation between all 3 of the top drivers, where they're all going to have to pit together, and we'll see who dares to put the least amount of fuel in, as all of them will probably definitely want to go for some new supers. Yes, even Noxie, I think, who is already on supers. So both Alexis Maximus, Noxie into the pits. Will Cthulhu join them in the pits? No, Cthulhu tries to stay out. No, Cthulhu staying out there, comes round that last corner. Oh, lighting the rears up there as well. That's not going to do their tyres a world of good. I think they were trying to maybe get them to the end of the race with that quarter of a tank. And a bit of damage to the front wing, unfortunately, lighting up the rears as they came around that corner. Took a bit too much sausage, a lot of sausage through that corner there as well, by the looks of it. Too much of the sausage curb, and it's just swung the rear end of that car right out and sent them flying into the opposite wall of the pit straight. That is not what they wanted. However, there is a significant gap between them and Guesty, so it could be all okay at the moment, assuming that they are going to see to the end of the race on the fuel and the tyres they are at the moment. Could we see Cthulhu pull up a bit of an undercut, a cheeky manoeuvre here, and this could be them for the rest of the race? Or are they going to try and sneak in another pit stop? Unfortunately, I don't have the live timings, but Alexis Maximus and Noxie both out of the pits. Alexis Maximus out of the pits a lot more than Noxie at the moment. So whereas they were right behind them, not so much at the moment. Our leaders all very much spread out. SNL Jam also out into 5th with GT Racer in 6th, Wolfbane in 7th, Shakshajar in 8th, and Koleski in 9th. Just Blasphemy in 10th, Tommy Payne's still in 11th. I wonder how their picnic's going. Cthulhu running a little bit wider. I think these tyres are suffering quite considerably with struggling for grip. May just very well have to come in and pit, which will put them, delay them a little bit and put them probably further into the grasps of Alexis Maximus and Noxie, having pitted on the last lap. Yeah, you can just hear those tyres squealing for grip as they're coming around the corner there, really trying to grab whatever they possibly can. Now, what's the situation with Guesty? Guesty on the medium here, and with plenty of fuel on board. They are definitely going to get to the end of the race on this one. I'd be surprised if they didn't. But Alexis Maximus and Noxie are right in their sights, and on a fresh set of supers and a fuel tank brimming. I can't see Guesty holding on to this position for very much longer unless something astronomical happens and they pull something out of the bag, which I will be pleasantly surprised to see. Now, will we see Cthulhu come into the pits on this race? Yeah, you can see the fuel lights flashing away there, so they've got to come in. But where will they come out? Where will they come out indeed? Just looking at the track map there on the top right, quite a bit of a sizable distance between the two. Is it enough of a distance though? Guesty holding on to second at the moment. Clearly got enough oomph in that Aston Martin that they can keep ahead. Can they keep ahead though for the next 2 and a bit laps, as we are on lap 15 of 18? There is not a whole lot of distance to go as we come into somewhat the closing stages of the race. I think Tommy Paynes has come back and rejoined with us. Great to have you back. Guesty coming around the last corner there onto the pit straight, saying a 3:09. Very well done. That was their best time so far. Alexis Maximus and Noxie are swapping paces like there's no tomorrow. As suspected though, Cthulhu, who had gone into the pits, had stayed out and then gone into the pits a little bit late, comes out in 4th, so not too far behind. Doesn't have as much time as they would have liked to make up for that distance, as it appears Alexis Maximus is very much all over the back end of Guesty. Runs out very, very wide into the gravel, is going to have lost a ton of speed there. Indeed, having lost an absolute ton of speed as Noxie sails by, going onto the Mulsanne straight. I think they were avoiding as best they probably could Guesty, but unfortunately put themselves in the side of error and went too wide into the gravel. Now, would Noxie have got the overtake done before the chicane? No, unfortunately they haven't, although it does look like Guesty has actually gone a bit too wide, cut the chicane there, probably gained quite a bit of an advantage, and rightly, whether they gave that position back or Noxie has taken that rightly, they've moved in behind them. I think Noxie would have had that regardless, as they come into the second section of the Mulsanne straight. You can just see Cthulhu in the distance there. They're not out of fight just yet. Could still be on to a last lap battle, as Noxie is currently first with Guesty right behind, although Guesty on the medium tyre of compound, not as grippy, but no need. They've got the tyres a bit more warmed up. They've no need to fill up. So everyone's done in terms of fuel and tyres. Alexis Maximus coming at the end of the corner, and Cthulhu also coming to the end of the straight. Surprisingly though, Guesty is holding on quite nicely to the coattails of Noxie. As quickly as Noxie was able to get round, they don't seem to be able to break away as quickly. Now, can Guesty keep their elbows out and ensure that Alexis Maximus doesn't get past them. Spot absolutely going everywhere. Bit of a lock-up on the rear right of Guesty coming into that corner. That's, you don't want a little bit of brake dust coming through there. It's not ideal, particularly in these late stages of the race. You want to make sure your game is absolutely A game at the very moment. No, I think Guesty's fallen back into the clutches of Alexis Maximus, who on those supers, and having dominated quite a significant portion of this race, could be making very quick work of Guesty. The very unimpressed looking Guesty as well. Can they get anything done as we come through these very tight last few corners here? Cutting quite a bit of corner, Alexis Maximus there. Not sure if they've kept two wheels on the curb. I have to leave that one up to the stewards, but they didn't gain any position. So could be into the stewards, but Alexis Maximus does get the overtake done, and they're through up into second place. Now only Noxie ahead of them for taking first position. How far back is Cthulhu though is the question. Cthulhu not too far. I don't think they are within getting that slipstream of Guesty. I thought Alexis Maximus would be a bit closer to the back of Noxie coming onto the Mossel straight and be able to get that slipstream. It doesn't seem like they would have done. Our top four drivers all very equally spread out at the moment, leaving quite a bit of a train between them. A lot more sparks flying off the Aston Martin than the other drivers coming down. That's so full. That could have ended so badly for Alexis Maximus. There was absolute millimeters between themselves and the Armco there. That could have ended terribly, but they've managed to pull that one off. Went a little bit too wide through that chicane there. You clearly see these drivers out pushing it to the limits. They know the race is coming to an end. They've got to hold on to that position. And Alexis Maximus is fighting for that first. They clearly very much want it. Can they get it done? Are they close enough to get anything of benefit from the back of Noxie? I don't think they are. They're just outside of it, I think. Now, Alexis Maximus is currently in third position, and they need these points, but I don't think they're going to be able to catch up to Jam, who is in second at the moment with 153. Quite a bit more distance between them. Looks like Guesty has fallen far enough back that Cthulhu is all over the back of them. So let's go on board with Cthulhu, who goes to take the outside line, interestingly coming through this corner here. So side by side, will they get the job done? They're just a little bit of a nose ahead, and I think Guesty just lifted off there, wanted to avoid any collision, had to let them through, getting a bit squirrely from Cthulhu. Has Cthulhu got enough life on the mediums, rather interestingly as well, enough grip even to catch up with our leader Noxie and Alexis Maximus? They are both very tightly. What do we have here? We're 3:07 from Noxie on their last lap and a 3:10. It's a whole 3 seconds, 3 seconds between the two of them, but Alexis Maximus setting some best sectors through here. Keep an eye out on these lap times as well. See who is actually going to come across. What are they gaining? As we come on to the final lap. Alexis Maximus shooting through those chicanes. And they do a 3:05.8 there from Noxie and a 3:05.1. 0.7 of a second between the two coming onto the final lap. Alexis Maximus holding onto those curbs. Maybe eating that a little bit there, more than they should. But doing very, very well. They've got Noxie all over the back as they come onto the Morsan straight. Oh no, as they go a little bit on the gravel there, that's going to have lost them a bit more time. That's not what you want on this final lap. They were all over the back of Noxie's rear bumper there, and just seems to have slipped back a bit too much. They would have wanted to be a lot closer. Let's go on board here. I think they're just outside of it to get any of that slipstreaming, although by the time they actually get any advantage, they'll already be at the chicane. Will they try and go for a lunge? I think it's a bit too far back to try anything quite as extravagant as a lunge, but they've got some good speed through that chicane. They've managed to keep their speed up through there and have actually got a lot more exit speed through there and closing down onto the back of Noxie. Can they get the overtake done, though, before the second chicane? I don't think they can. Could we see a lunge? No, Noxie covers the inside line. Very well done there. Both drivers hit. Fuel light is flashing at them. It doesn't matter. It's the last lap. They're absolutely pushing it between the two. Cthulhu up into third as well. Overtaking Guesty. Noxie, oh god, it's coming down to this last few corners, I think. It very well have to be. Could we see any daring lunge? No. Not even all. Almost on the outside, looked like Alexis Maximus might try and go there. Getting a bit squirrely on some of these exits. That Mercedes has been very strong the whole way through this race, but Williams equally just as strong. These tightly matched drivers here. Swings quite violently out over to the side. Alexis Maximus, oh, goes the outside line to take the inside on the next corner. Has it paid off though as they go a bit too deep? No, they managed to make it back, and they've got a purple sector to boot for that one as well as they take first position. Noxie just going a bit wide there. Oh no, they've run a little bit wide and they've just nudged onto the bumper, onto the barrier, unfortunately, which means Alexis Maximus is getting a bit more of a lead. Will we see anything there? There was a bit of rubbing is racing there. Alexis Maximus coming through these last sector, setting purple sector after purple sector. Could we see a final fastest lap? Noxie is not giving up without a fight. They see them in the distance. They're closing in on them as we come to the last few chicanes. Oh, right on the bumper. A bit of a curb cut there from Alexis Maximus, bit of sausage. Noxie coming across the lines. Oh, Noxie came into first. I think Alexis Maximus may have run out of fuel. Oh no! What's going on here? Alexis Maximus running out of fuel just before the start-finish line, meaning that Noxie has jumped across in front by absolute milliseconds. Cthulhu comes home in third, SNL Jam in fourth, with Wolfbane in fifth. Let's have a look for Guesty coming around the last few corners here. Oh my, and Pileski going for a little bit of an early celebration there, gets the back end out, unfortunately loses a space. Guesty takes sixth, Jack Shah takes seventh. Making sure I've got the pause button ready. Yeah, we'll just see the little pirouette there of Pileski in the background. So Jacques Jajar comes in seventh, Pileski coming in eighth. Would have been seventh, unfortunately, for that spin. Digital Blasphemy, by the looks of things, coming in ninth, though they have got GT Racer some ways in the distance. It's the last few corners here. That sausage curve just catching a few people out. GT Racer coming in 10th. Which means Tommy Payne's coming in 11th. What an absolute jaw-dropping, great race there. We had overtakes the whole way through and a very, very last-minute swap around. I genuinely thought Alexis Maximus had that done and dusted, but just a bit of an untimely error with the fuel, not enough in it. And it meant that Noxie was able to just jump past there. Our fastest lap went to Wolfbane today, and that was a 3:04.491. Very, very quick. Absolute well done to them for getting fastest lap. But our winner today, top of the podium, is Noxie. Second on the podium is Alexis Maximus after a very tight battle. Cthulhu comes in third, having started at the back of the grid, managing to make their way up to the top into the podium to fall back down again following an incident with some bollards, and then gets back up onto the podium to take that third. That'll do the championship a world of wonders. SNL Jam into fourth position. Very well done there, with Wolfbane in fifth, Guesty in sixth. Jacques Jajar takes up seventh. Paleski comes in 8th after that little pirouette at the last corner. Digital Blasphemy comes in 9th, with GT Racer making up 10th, and Tommy Paynes coming in 11th. Thank you all very much for that. That was an exciting race. We'll be back this coming Sunday for our season finale of the Sunday Night League Formula X series, where we will be live at Suzuka. So until then, thank you all very much, and we can't wait. Bye for now.